助けてほしいかナナに。心を燃やせ。限界を超えろ。
Hello and welcome to More Than Headlines, your weekly anime news podcast powered by Audio Technica, made by Australians for global citizens. I'm your extremely humble host, Brendan White, aka the Salt and Pepper Senpai, and joining me in the studio, my trusted co-host and rival, Yuna to my Asta, Mrs. Courtney Smith. How the bloody hell are ya?
I am so good. I've had a very productive week. I'm back at the gym, which I'm very excited about. What about you?
I have had a productive week in very different reasons and ways. I've just gotten back from a whirlwind work-related trip to Thailand. I think I've lost half my soul somewhere along Soy Cowboy, but you know, you live and you learn. Well, maybe you don't learn. You live, you love, you lose, and you hope to come out of for the better. I'm hanging in there. I feel like I'm held together with bubblegum and sticky tape right now, but I'm ready. We're consummate professionals here. We're never not going to be delivering news and opinions. And here we are, episode 37. You're living your best life. I'm just trying to live a life, but we're here.
I'll say I'm proud of you for showing up today, because I was a little worried. You did send some messages that were indicative of maybe Brendan being a bit too inebriated, but I'm proud of you.
Yeah, that Friday evening, so my last night in Thailand, I didn't get home until 4:45. And I think I drank most of Bangkok out of their B-52 shots, which we made even more dramatic by setting them on fire every time we drank them. And a lot of gin and a lot of other things were sort of consumed as well. It was a time. I was in a world of hurt yesterday, but yeah, an overnight flight home tonight. And then I got to see my boys this morning. So I'm a little bit more like energized, being on home soil again. Talk with one of my favorite people, seeing my favorite boys downstairs who are now sleeping and fighting and eating treats. And we've got a lot of news to talk about. There's a lot of things going on in the world of anime this week, Courtney.
Yes, there's so much news, and not all of it is good this week, but we'll get into it.
Yeah, like I said, I'm feeling pretty fragile and pretty delicate. And then some of the news you decided to throw in here again, it felt like you were just kicking me while I was down. But hey, it's okay. We should jump into the news. But yeah, obviously the news is presented by our friends over at Ice Tea Aesthetics, where anime meets streetwear. Go check out their fantastic, ever-growing, ever-expanding web store and get yourself some of the freshest merchandise in the anime lands. But before we start talking news, we got to do this.
You like the news?
That's a dangerous drop when you're hungover, Courtney. That nearly made me do things out of my control. But anyway, let's go.
Spicy. All right, our first story today, the hit Girls Love manga by Sumiko Arai, the guy she was interested in wasn't a guy at all, is getting an anime adaptation. The announcement came via Kadokawa last Wednesday and has been met with excitement from fans, of course. The synopsis reads, "The black-clad boy that Aya Osawa likes is perfect. He's effortlessly nonchalant, has a sharp sense of style, and listens to the best music. Ever since the trendy Aya stumbled upon a small CD store to enjoy the rock classics her friends aren't familiar with, the mysterious employee behind the counter has been on her mind. Meanwhile, the quiet and aloof Mitsuki Koga listens to her popular classmate Aya rave about her crush, tormented by a nagging thought. How to tell Aya that the guy she's interested in isn't a guy at all?"
Yes to all of this, Courtney. Like, I have yet to read a single panel, or I'm now very excited to obviously watch this anime when it does get adapted, but I've heard nothing but good things about this IP. Like, people in our Discord, people in our community, people out on the socials have been speaking about this franchise with such high praise. And I've downloaded the manga on my iPad, but I'm just yet to rudely flick through those pages. So now knowing that it's coming to us on the small screen, I'm not going to wait. I'm still wanting to read it because I need a little bit of this type of vibe in my life. I love the premise. I love this grungy subtext. And I'm such a big fan of the art style and the use of color that I've seen on not only sort of the key art and the key visuals, but also just throughout the manga panels. Like, it is a cool looking vibe that I want to live in.
Yes, I've been meaning to pick up this manga for a while because so many Yuri fans are singing its praises. And of course, I'm a Yuri fan too. And I really want to check it out. I haven't had a chance, but now I feel like I really, really need to get on it. the fact that this manga is getting an anime adaptation after 3 volumes, only 3 volumes have been released, and we're now getting the adaptation, speaks volumes for it. And it's just exciting to see more Yuri get anime adaptations, because we don't get loads, and sometimes what we do get is kind of crap. So it's also playing into the popular music themes of a lot of anime and manga at the moment. So I think it sounds like it's going to be a good time.
I think it's going to be fantastic. And yeah, I'm hyped to check it out, not only both in manga and anime form. Something a little less fantastic is the headline that you've saddled me with. Again,
Yep.
you've laid yet another boot into my fragile being right now. As one anime starts, another manga/anime is ending. The My Dress Up Darling manga is ending with the next chapter on March the 21st this year. So we're talking a little under a month's time now. But in some good news, a second season of the anime has been announced and is getting done again by Cloverworks, which I am very excited for.
I'm so sorry that I saddled you with that one. I just thought, because you love it, you love the franchise. I was like, this is right up Brendan's alley, but in the worst way possible, apparently.
Yeah, the alley that it's right up right now is one where I'm getting stabbed in the heart and then robbed. That's the alley that I'm walking down here. But yeah, that's fine.
I'm sorry. Well, I'll say this has been on my watch list for ages. I still haven't gotten around to it. I'm so sorry. But I'll definitely be picking up season 1 before season 2 airs, so I can kind of get on that seasonal hype train.
Yeah, so I, for one, I do not really understand this decision. Like, as you probably understood very quickly from my little minor rants here, I'm very sad about this news because My Dress Up Darling has quickly become one of my favorite rom-coms in anime and manga form. I've been a big fan. I'll admit I was introduced to this franchise through season 1 of the anime first, and then loved it that much and then sought out the manga. I'm up to date digitally. I'm nearly up to date physically with the manga on my shelf over there that I'm looking at right now with a solitary tear running down my cheek. But I don't know how to feel because I read the penultimate chapter that dropped this week, and I just feel there is so much more meat on the bone when it comes to the story and the character development. Like, I'm going to avoid spoiling anything because the manga is obviously very much far along compared to season 1 of the anime. But I don't know what Shinichi Fukuda has decided here, like why she said, you know what, that's enough. And I'm hoping this final chapter that's coming out in March is going to be like 60 plus pages worth, because I don't know how we're going to get an appropriate conclusion here, because I feel, like I said, there's so much more to go with Gojo and Marin, and I am not happy and I'm not okay, Courtney.
I feel like I've heard a lot of people online with the same opinion as you here. They're like, wait, so suddenly, right? It's all of a sudden there's the announcement, which means there's 1 month left until the final chapter, and people are kind of rioting about it, apparently understandably. Yes.
No words.
No words.
Yep. I need a tissue.
Oh, Brendan.
Dash will help me.
In our final news story, it is some good news. The popular manhwa Omniscient Readers Viewpoint is getting a live action film. The movie will be released in Korea in July. An Hyo-sop from Business Proposal, amongst other popular K-dramas, will play Dokja Kim. And my absolute favorite K-drama actor, Lee Min-ho from Boys Over Flowers, will play Jung Hyuk-kyu. And it will also star Jisoo from Blackpink.
Hell to the goddamn yeah. Like, I'll admit I was fashionably late to ORV, but anyone that's tuned in to this podcast the last several months knows how much I've been loving it, knows how much I've been singing the praises of this world and of these characters. I will admit that I was a little surprised that the live action is coming before the anime. Like, I'm not sad about it. I think it could still be good. And I've seen, like, I did a bit of viewing of these characters, and I can certainly see them play the 2 titular leads. They are such forces on the screen, but they are such chalk and cheese. So I'm looking forward to seeing that dynamic play out in this live action environment by these very handsome gentlemen. But my biggest concern with this, Courtney, if this is just going to be like a one-shot film, like if they're not planning to maybe do a sequel and a threequel and things like that, how the heck are they going to finish this whole story in an appropriate way? Because there is so much lore and so much going on in this world that I'm very hesitant that 90 minutes is going to be enough to tell the story that I hope they tell. but maybe this will sort of then act as sort of like a soft bridge into the anime, which can do more long form storytelling. So got my fingers, toes crossed, eagerly awaiting this. Again, the season of Brendan is upon us. This is happening in July, so yet another birthday present for me. Thank the lords above for this one. But I wanted to go on record again and say that if done well, I feel the anime adaptation of ORV could rival Solo Leveling as far as impact and hype, because I feel the storytelling is better in ORV in comparison to Solo Leveling, and I can't wait for you all to check out this universe because it's so good.
I am super excited for this movie. I mentioned a bunch of fantastic K-drama actors that I love. I watch a lot of K-dramas. I listen to a lot of K-pop, so Jisoo from Blackpink being in it is super exciting to me. I'll definitely be checking it out. I think it might only cover maybe 1 or 2 arcs. I don't know if it would cover, obviously, because how many chapters are there now of ORV?
Over 220 something.
Yeah. So
it's a monster.
I don't think it would cover everything, but I think it would be maybe even similar to the Oshinoko Final Act live action, where it kind of covered some very specific beats. But I think overall it'll be a hit, even if just for the actors that are starring in it. Mm-hmm. It should introduce more people to the manhwa. Of course, we're also getting the anime adaptation that will be streamed on Crunchyroll. We don't have a date yet, but I'm sure it will be announced very soon.
I hope so. And I love that there is a different type of boy depending on what you're looking for. Like, you've got the smoldering, sort of angsty Jong Hyuk Yoo, who is, everyone's probably main cup of tea. But then you've sort of got the dorky, whimsical, happy-go-lucky Dr. Kim as well. So depending on what you're looking for, there is going to be some good visual feasts and some thirst traps available. But I'm looking forward to this.
Yes, I'm very excited. But something I'm kind of also excited for, and I might be judged a little for this, is in our rapid fire news presented by Otaku Box, the only anime box with scale figures, voting, and ecchi. You will soon be able to buy Dragon Ball Z inspired Crocs in Australia, and I need to say, first of all, I'm a huge fan of Crocs. I love their shoes. I know they're traditionally seen as really ugly and uncool. I think they're great, and I think they've been picking up traction as like a fashion statement. But this isn't Crocs' first foray into anime and fandom. Yeah,
I'm on a separate boat to you on this one, Courtney. Like, I am not pro Croc. I am anti Croc. I respect what they're doing, and I'm surprised at how big this brand has become, considering that look and feel. Like, it's not for me, and that's fine. It's for a lot of other people, and I love that all these Croc card-carrying members and Dragon Ball fans are seeing their worlds collide with this sort of collab that's coming out. But I don't think I want to be dropping $110 or $154.99 AUD on a pair of Crocs for a franchise that I still kind of think's mid. Don't come at me, Dragon Ball fans. But for anyone out there that's looking for it, the designs look fun. It looks like it's ripped straight out of the DB universe, and I think everyone's going to love it.
Yeah, and the fact that they've done Naruto before, they've done Demon Slayer, I have a pair of Nezuko Crocs, they've done Jujutsu Kaisen, and, they know what they're doing. They know how to design a good pair of shoes for anime fans. And honestly, I love my Crocs when I'm going around the house, when I'm going outside for a quick errand, something like that. It's, they're just good shoes that you can show your love of something like this.
And I hear often that they are comfy as hell. So, I've got to, again, tip the hat to them for that one, because the style and aesthetic isn't something for me, but I know a lot of people that love and swear by the Crocs, and knowing that they are comfy as well, I'm like, cool. The thing that sort of can be a little bridge too far for me, again, is the bedazzling of the Crocs.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that yet. Like, are you a bedazzler for your Crocs, or are you sort of keeping him blank slate?
So at the moment on my Nezuko ones, I have gibbets from Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen, and they're on my Nezuko ones. But I do want to get, they have like a black loafer pair they've just released. It looks really good for work, really comfy.
Okay.
But I don't think I would put anything on those. I would keep them as a very kind of casual, subtle Crocs vibe.
Yeah, like I'm navigating the Crocs website right now, and there is a deep, deep, deep rabbit hole you can go down regarding these gibbets. Holy moly. And I guess that's kind of cool because you can personalize the Croc to you specifically instead of having all the same kick. So Maybe I'm converting myself as we talk about this, and I'll be rocking a pair of Crocs in the weeks to come. Who knows?
Yeah, you're already you're shopping online. You're literally on the website.
Yeah, and I have little self-control. So there's a chance by the end of this episode, I've checked out and got myself a pair of Crocs and a couple of fancy accompanying gibbet packs.
All right. Well, we'll come back to that at the end, but let's have a talk about what we've been watching this week, Brendan, because I just need to say I have almost caught up on all of my seasonal anime except for the stuff that came out today. So
I'm so proud of you. You've turned over a new leaf this season.
Thank you. I'm trying really hard. I'm even when I play League of Legends at night, I have not been joining voice call with my friends so I can watch anime in the background.
Sorry, friendos.
It's okay, guys. I'll be back soon. Just give me a minute. So the things that I want to call out this week specifically are Blue Box episode 20. So they did all of the school festival stuff, and that was all really cool and fun and exciting, and Taiki takes on the role of the prince because something happens, and that's great. But the thing that I want to point out from this episode is that we have a new character called Ayame, and I love her vibes. She looks like she's going to be an absolute menace, and I'm obsessed.
I don't know if you remember when we were talking about Blue Box sort of late last year, and I said there's characters to come, and there's one that I think you're going to love and gravitate towards. It was Ayame. So I'm happy that I was on the mark for that because, yeah, she is a little sort of pipe-sized twin-tailed hurricane, and she's the best. I love the energy she brings, and she really changes up the dynamic of the sort of main cast.
Yeah, I feel like she's so, even when she was talking about kind of romance, and she's like, I don't want a long-term serious romance. I think it's fun to have quick flings. And I'm like, I'm married, not for me, but I get it. I love a character that can really express an opinion that is unpopular and really stick to their guns like that. So I'm keen to see how she plays out.
She's great.
The other thing I've been watching, which shocked me this week, is Honey Lemon Soda, episode 6 and episode 7. And I have been shitting on this anime since day dot. So when I watched episode 6 and episode 7, I was so confused. What happened? These 2 episodes, I feel, have completely redeemed the first 5 episodes for me. We get to see Uka standing up as a leader in her class and doing something for herself for once with the school festival. There are still some moments where she is a bit useless, but with baby steps for little Uka. She's getting better to the point where I was actually just watching and engaged. And then episode 7, they're going on summer break and she's a bit miserable, but all the girlies are like, let's go to the festival together. And it's just her and her girlfriends, and it's so sweet to just see an episode without the boys and without this constant will she get with Kai or will she not, and instead it's just about the friendships that she's making, and I loved it.
Yeah, I'm not all the way back in like you are. I feel these 2 episodes were definitely a step in the right direction, and it was probably the most consecutive positive viewing I've had of Honey Lemon Soda. I feel 6 and 7 is the strongest of this season so far, with a bullet. Uka getting multiple sort of ways to empower herself, whether it be from her own actions or from just the girlies and everyone just sort of starting to root for her, and her running around and sort of organizing this entire maid cafe, and everyone just realized, whoa, Uka's a bad bitch. She did that. You drew this mural on the chalkboard, all these types of things. I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying seeing her sort of come out of her cocoon and sort of be a little bit more assertive and sure of herself and starting to find herself in this world. But I don't know what's happening with this anime for me still, and it's reminding me a lot. Do you remember last year A Condition Called Love?
Yeah.
That's what this is reminding me of a lot, and it sort of gave me a little bit of the ick at the same time, where I'm seeing some of those sort of possessive qualities that Hananoi had in that anime that I fucking hated. And Kai is starting to do that a little bit here, where he's grabbing her by the wrist, pulling her here and there, jumping in all the time, speaking for her. And I know a lot of it comes from a good place, but there's a few times where I'm just bro, no, she's fine. She's got this. step back a little bit. So that's where I'm kind of like, I'm not really in. And some of the art style, again, anytime there's a side profile, for the most part, I'm like, I hate this. Please go back to looking at these characters front on, because everything else in this world's gorgeous, especially like the scenery shots and like the locations. Like there was a couple of scenes in these last few episodes where you see her and then some other classmates go flying down this hill because no bikes have working brakes, apparently. They're all just like, fuck, going down this hill. But like the scenery and the buildings and the light work and the weather elements in those scenes was stunning. Then they turn sideways and like, oh, Jesus, what's going on?
Jump scare.
Yeah.
Look, I actually really agree. I'm glad that you called out the possessiveness of some of these male characters in these kind of shoujo romance, because even though I guess as a teenage girl or a girl in your early 20s, this might be something that you find attractive, but I think it really, as you get older and you really kind of understand the relationships between men and women and romantic relationships and platonic relationships, how important it is for people to really stand up on their own. I think that's why I had such a problem with Uka for, at the beginning of this series, because she wasn't able to do that. And no one was giving her a chance to do that. Like, I'm happy that Kai wants to support her, but, support her in a way where you're not holding her hand 24/7. She's not yours. You don't own her. So I'm glad that you called that out.
Yeah, like those moments where at the end of the festival when he's holding her, like, and it's like, that's when he's actually holding her hand. The rest of it is usually grabbing her by the wrist and dragging her along. And he's like, you know what, if you don't like this, shake me off. And it's just like, maybe like just let her go and see if she grabs your hand back. Like, let her make the choice. Like, so there's a little bit of that where I'm just like, oh, this isn't healthy behavior.
Yeah, 100%. But
it's getting better. It's getting a lot better.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how the last lot of episodes will go. But what else have you been watching, Brendan?
Well, I just wanted to cherry pick one because I am a few back from this week's viewing because I have been, abroad and was very time poor. So I just wanted to shout out 100 Girlfriends again, because this is now in my top 3 of the season with a bullet. Like, it is so good. It is so fun. The way it can balance heart, humor, and horniness, I feel is like Oscar worthy. Like, it is everything that I love in media, and it's just so enjoyable and so silly. And it can go from like these crass, like, oh my God, they said that moment, to then like, I'm shedding tears of joy because I'm like overflowing with emotions because of how sweet it becomes. Like, it just works. Like, it's treading this tightrope of all these different genres and themes, yet it's up there dancing and laughing and having the best time. And so episode 6 and 7, we sort of see this mini arc play out across these 2 episodes. We're introduced to Iku, who's a baseball-loving masochist. So she then becomes Rentaro's 9th girlfriend in the series so far. And regarding this arc, the main basis of it, all her other baseball friends have they all decided they're going to take baseball seriously. So the other 8 members in the team went to America to try and become the very best, but she had to stay back here because if she leaves, the baseball club's going to get closed down. So she's sort of here working by herself, keeping the dream alive while her friends are over in the States doing God knows what. But these episodes, it sort of culminates in this must-win match against a rival school where if they lose the match, the baseball club is dead. So they've got to win this match. And for some reason, like the rival school baseball team, they're like normal girls, but they've got like dinosaur type aesthetics to them. Like they've got like jagged teeth and like, pointy ears. Don't ask me why or how, but anyway, they fight this, they do battle with this humanoid dinosaur baseball team. The match itself, absolutely bonkers. Like, we get training montages with all the 9 girls, and a lot of them have various shortfalls in regards to baseball or using their skills to sort of work around that to make it happen. But it's just the perfect amount of laughs, heart, and fan service. And like, especially in episode 7, we get a lot of homage to Dragon Ball in these moments, and it's just so goddamn good. And we see all our little starlets here all get a chance to shine through this episode as well. So we see all the different tropes and stereotypes of the 9 women, but they all shine in their own little way. And I'm obsessed. This is in my amaze tier for the season. Like, I am I'm no longer shocked because I've been talking about how good it is since this season has started, but I am just so pleased that it's just staying consistently at this level where I am just laughing, I'm smiling, I'm shocked, I'm embarrassed, and then I'm like also having my heart like beat crazily because it's so sweet at the same time. Like, it is the best.
Brendan, I need to apologize to you because you said so many ridiculous things just then that I could not keep up. All I heard was baseball, move to the US, masochist, dinosaur, Dragon Ball. And I'm like, what is happening in this anime?
It just works. It, like, yes, when you throw all those words and phrases out individually, you're like, huh? But the storytelling and the writing is just so well done. And I love this world. And like, once this second season is done, I'm going headfirst into the manga and I'm just going to read because I love this franchise so much already. And I never expected myself to say that because I thought the first season was just fine. But it's a whole nother level. Like I said, it is bumped out. Like, I was doing my ratings this morning, like Apothecary Diaries has dropped down to 4 for me. Like, I've been moving things around just based off pure enjoyment because this is so great and it's so gorgeously animated too. Like, oh my God, I love this world and I love these characters. I'll die for this world. It's
beating Apothecary Diaries for you.
Yeah.
That's insane. Okay, I'm shocked, but you know, I'll listen. I'll keep up with the story through you. But insane. In terms of what I've been reading, I'm just reading Dr. Stone at the moment and kind of keeping up with my weekly things. I'm really tempted to dive into Kagurabachi maybe after I've finished Dr. Stone. So I've got maybe like 150 chapters left of that. But I'm really enjoying reading manga lately. What about you?
I've just been sort of reading my usuals. So luckily had sort of a couple of new chapters drop of, you know, Marriage Toxin, another chapter of Blue Box. Like I mentioned, My Dress Up Darling. I read the latest chapter of Kagurabachi the week before last. And like, yeah, there's just so much good stuff. And yeah, please do check out Kagurabachi because it is sick. But yeah, haven't been doing a ton of in-depth reading, a little bit more of Return of the Disaster Class Hero, and also been working my way through another manhwa called Doombreaker. Similar sort of resurrection, power fantasy type of vibe. So it's very similar to some other stuff I've been reading. I think it's just the art just gets me. Like, I've been really enjoying it just with the aesthetical vibes on these panels. Like, it is so pretty. And like, you know, manga art's gorgeous too in its own way, but like that consistent service, obviously, because it is aimed more of the digital market instead of sort of the physical hand-drawn, it just works and it's just a good time.
Very good. Very fair. I'll definitely be picking it up for sure. But Brendan, I want to talk about our anime that we are discussing on a weekly basis, our recap and review of Sakamoto Days, episode 7. Would you like to start us off?
Yeah, sure. So episode 7, titled Jurassic Bastard. It was an immediate tone setter for me when I saw the word Jurassic. Anyone that has breathed similar air to me over the years knows I'm horny for dinosaurs. So when I saw that, I'm like, let's go. I'm in. I will not sort of spoil the lead and sort of tell you my overall thoughts about how this episode played out, I think. But yeah, it opens. We've sort of got a event happening at Hana's school. So we see that the Sakamoto tribe, we've got Taro and Aoi off watching Hana do a thing at school. So Lu and Shin are left to run the store. You know, Sakamoto is trying to be optimistic about that, and he's wondering, you know, how's things going in the store? So we flash across the store, and we can very much see the sibling rivalry developing here between Lu and Shin. Like, they're fighting like brother and sister, disagreeing over certain things one does and not the other, and vice versa. Like, Shin's upset because Lu is always wearing his apron. Lu's getting upset because you're like, you're a creep, man. Stop reading my thoughts. I don't think I can trust you. And it really cuts deep partway through. Like, I think it starts surface level to begin with. And then we see Heisuke roll in, the dirty cheap ass roll. And he's like, hey, you got any of those old pork buns that I can take off your hands? Like, what's up, yo? And so he sort of walks in at the back end of this fight where Lu gets really personal. And she's like, I can't trust you. I can't be friends with you. Stop reading my thoughts. Like, stop invading my privacy. Like, I'm not a fan of you. And so Shin leaves in a huff. And then you see Heisuke pick up a couple of the pork buns off the ground because he's a goddamn shameless bum. But then it escalates quickly because something else happens just after this.
Yeah, so suddenly a bunch of guys in these white Monsters Inc.-esque hazmat suits roll up, and they look at Lou and they look at her name tag and it says Shin, and they're like, that's him, get the guy. And she's like, what? And suddenly she's been kidnapped. We have a kidnapping, and they have her in the car and she's like tied up and she's like, let me out. She's trying to get out, but we hear this discussion between these hazmat suit guys saying that Shin is some kind of test subject, which is really interesting. So they do look at the picture and they figure out that maybe the person they've kidnapped isn't Shin, but they're like, they've got the name tag. It's fine. The name tag is the same. But then we get to hear a bit about Shin's backstory, which is really interesting, about the reason that he can read minds is because he's been experimented on.
Yeah, so we find out that he's been in this place called the lab, and he escaped there like 11 years ago, and he sort of tried to downplay what was happening there. He's like, that were just sort of weird, awkward scientists. It's all good, bro. Like, don't worry about it. And you're like, is it really? Like, you were the only one that succeeded because they were testing on all these kids, but he was the only one that I guess they were able to unlock his clairvoyant ability. And then he, escapes a little over a decade ago. So we get a bit of context, a little bit more lore as to how Shin came to be, which is great. But yeah, we have also, during this sort of exposition that these hazmat suit wearing weirdo scientist people, as they're fanging down the highway in this van, Kanaka is sort of the leader of this little hijacking situation. And he's there starting to sort of spout nonsense and throw a lot of hate towards Shin about, he is weird. Like, who could ever be friends with this guy? Like, he's a clairvoyant. And you can see this really start to impact Lou and make her go, oh, shit, like, I was just saying these things to Shin. Like, that is not what I meant. I just got worked up. I feel so bad. And you see sort of that sort of protective sister mentality kick up with her, and she fly kicks one of the dudes in the van and starts sort of walloping on a few. And I think it's a really nice moment where you're like, yeah, like they fight like siblings. They love like siblings.
Yeah, that's it. And it, comes back to that theme of family in this series, which I keep banging on about. But we cut back, Shin gets back home and he's kind of calmed down a bit. And he's like, oh, like I should apologize for storming out. It was an arguing. It was really awful of me. But Lou's gone. There's broken glass, and shortly after the Sakamoto's return as well from the parent-teacher day, and they're like, Lou's missing. She's absolutely missing. We don't know where she is. And Sakamoto's like, hey, don't worry, I know where she is. And Shin's like, what? And we find out that he puts GPS trackers in all of their name tags, which is kind of sweet in a weird way, but kind of creepy at the same time. So they're like, all right, we got to go get Lou. Sakamoto and Shin go out on the motorbike and start chasing the van, basically. Like, we need to get her back. And we get a pretty cool kind of bike chase / fight scene. And my favorite part of this scene is that there's the driver is a really hot guy.
I knew it was going to be Seba. I knew Seba was going to be the one. Yeah.
Look, he takes off his hazmat mask and he's like, I don't know. I could just see it in real life, and I was like, wow, I would kiss him. Anyway, Seba is...
Just quickly throw that out. Moving on.
Seba he's some kind of ninja, and I wouldn't mind if he did some ninjutsu on me.
Yeah, it's fair. Like, a good-looking rooster. I appreciate his, like, token 3 freckles. He had, like, 2 under one eye and 1 under the other. But I do love that there is a bit of an exclamation point moment where we see Sakamoto and Shin arrive on the scene, like, hero style, like, coming from the heavens on the Sakamoto cycle, as I coined it. I was very proud of myself, half hungover when I wrote that. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty good wordplay there. So I had to sort of get that out. And yeah, the battle itself is sick. Like, there's big explosions, big chaos. Again, I'm questioning the no death rule that the family abides by, because there's people blowing up here, and there's a scene that happens later where I'm like, I know what usually happens when you do that to someone. That's death. So I'm wondering if they're getting a little fast and loose here with these rules. But yeah, Seba is a cold, bad son of a bitch. Like, yeah, just casually gets out of his hazmat suit, climbs onto the roof of this moving van, and then you find out that this assassin has the ability to go invisible, and you're like, whoa, okay. And he easily sort of smacks Shin out of the way, Sakamoto then sort of gets down, and they almost like they end in a draw where Seba ends up sort of dismantling or disabling, the Sakamoto cycle, where sort of like lands the fuel tank or whatever, and the motorcycle blows up, and sort of he then just casually jumps back into the van, and they keep speeding away with Lou captured, and he sort of like acknowledges how powerful and badass Sakamoto was, but also the fact that he sort of went up to him in this scenario, like, whoa, this guy means business.
100%. I did like there was a moment in this scene where there's a guy in his car and he sees an explosion that happens far away, and he turns to Shin. He's like, "You guys filming a movie?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Sick." And I'm like, no, do not believe him.
Yeah. It was a good, even like when they are having that battle, and he's like, Shin's jumped into the back of like a ute, and he's like, "Yeah, bro, can I borrow some of this wood?" And the guy's like, "Sure, buddy." And he throws the wood through the spikes to like blow up another motorcycle. Like, yeah, the world around these sort of main characters, they're just so accepting of everything that's happening.
So we see Sakamoto and Shin kind of regroup. They lost track of the lab guys, and they're like, "Where the hell are they?" And Shin's like, "No, I know. Like, this is where I grew up. This is where the lab is." And they catch a bus to the lab, which is in a science museum.
Which I loved. Like, if that was where I grew up, like, I probably would never have broken out. I would just hang around there forever, because you see some really cool stuff. So, yeah, we see Sakamoto and Shin arrive at the Okutabi Science Museum. They roll in straight away, and there's like some sort of female staff members there dressed up in their little dinosaur costumes, sort of saying, "Hey, you want a photo? You want to get dressed up too?" And at first, like, they're sort of trying to downplay it, but they're like, "Okay, we're good, because this is going to be a great disguise. No one's going to be able to see our exposed face in this dinosaur helmet." I'm like, okay, come on. Like, that's like me saying, "I don't know it's you right now, Courtney, because you've got headphones on." Like, it was a little
like Superman.
Yeah, with the Clark Kent glasses. It's just like, whoa, you Superman the whole time.
God. And it's just so funny because Sakamoto's like, "Yeah, it's really soft." Yeah. Like, he just loves it. I'm like, this is so funny. And the girls are like, "It's $50 for a large print." And Shin's like, "Oh, I'll take it."
Yeah, straight away. He ain't missing this opportunity. Anytime he can get some like immortalization with his hero, he's going to do it. So yeah, he cops the money to buy this. Like, he wanted the large print too. He was like, "Can I get one large print, please?" And so we then sort of flash back into sort of the lab hidden in the science museum. And this is where we're introduced to someone they first say is Mr. Reindeer, but we find out that's Kashima, and he's also one of the members of the Order, one of the, the badass assassins. And at first you're like, is this guy a humanoid reindeer person? Like, is this what's happening in this lab? Like, they're experimenting on humans and animals and making them one thing. And we find out, no, he's just wearing this mask, and he lifts it up, and he's almost like Frankenstein's monster again. Like, he's got scars and sort of wounds and stuff all over himself. And then Seba casually rolls in there as well, and he says to Kashima, "Oh, by the way, this isn't Shin, this is Lou. This scientist guy is full of shit." And so the scientist guy gets wheeled away and locked up with Lou as well. But very ominous. Like, he was a bit creepy, old Mr. Reindeer. I didn't like the vibes.
Well, you're saying this, but like, if he wanted to give me stitches, I wouldn't complain. Like, he's pretty hot as well. Just
your thirst cannot be quenched in episode 7. My goodness.
I love a man in a mask, like Mandalorian, just hidden identity.
What about then like Boba Fett, and then you see Temuera Morrison take that mask off, and you're like, maybe leave that on, bro.
No, you leave the mask on always. The mask stays on. But after this scene, we flash back to Shin and Sakamoto trying to get into the lab, but the password is incorrect. They do everything right until it comes to the password. It's incorrect. They've obviously changed it. And this causes the taxidermy bears to wake up and say they're going to kill them. They're like, okay, time to eliminate this target. And Sakamoto's like fighting these bears, and Shin's like, "Have you fought bears before?" And Sakamoto's like, "I'm trained in all kinds of animal combat." And I'm like, yeah, okay, I see it. But then a T-Rex skeleton is the final boss, and it just comes to life with like a gun in its mouth. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, it felt very like, it reminded me at first when we had the bears with the guns in their mouths, I thought of the dogs with bees in their mouths from The Simpsons. Yes. And then when the T-Rex happened, I'm like, now we've gone to like Family Guy territory. I'm like, this is going all over the place right now. But I was enjoying my time with it. Anytime there's a T-Rex based reference, immediate sort of thumbs up from me. But I love when the T-Rex does awaken, Sakamoto straight away is like, man, I've got to capture this thing alive. Like, Hana loves dinosaurs. She'll love to see this. Like, let's sort of like humanize this dinosaur and domesticate it. Like, let's take it home. But that is quickly thrown by the wayside when they realize that, yeah, this dinosaur skeleton is a bad mother. And so Shin sort of just stands back and watches Sakamoto go to work with this thing. And he takes it down pretty quickly using the taser to begin with, and he's like, cool, that was fine, now we can take it home. But then it was like, no, that just allows it to then enter maximum combat level, as it says. So it swiftly then destroys the taser. So then Sakamoto goes, all right, I'm just going to use my fists and my legs here to kick this thing to pieces, and he punches through the giant sort of energy-based gun thing in the T-Rex's mouth, then like kicks it in half. Like, you see peak Sakamoto in this dino combat.
But then he's just so sad that he can't show it to Hana because she's like, dinosaurs are so cute. I love them. And he's like, oh, I'm disappointing my daughter. It's like, no, Sakamoto, you are the best dad. But they do end up managing to fight all of the exhibits in the museum. And they get down into the lab and they find out that all of the lab kind of assistants, all of the scientists are like, you know, be careful, we got to hide because the boss is being held captive. This is not what it's like here. And this is kind of alluded to when Shin is thinking back on his memories of the lab. He's like, no, they're really nice people. They wouldn't kidnap Lou. They wouldn't kidnap someone. But it turns out a year ago, an assassin group headed by Kashima took over the lab by force to do research about killing methods.
Yeah, it's an interesting sort of scene that plays out there. The one part, like, again, where Shin's like, no, they wouldn't kidnap anybody, but yeah, they'd experiment on you for years as a child. Like, you know, have your cake and eat it too. Like, what is it, Shin? What is going on here? But yeah, we find out that the people in the lab were just happy-go-lucky, curious scientists, I guess. And yeah, Asakura is the head researcher who's been kidnapped. I'm assuming you probably thought he was a good-looking rooster as well when we meet him. Like, the long hair, the beard. You know, he seemed like a bit of a power player potentially. Yes,
but I will say I'm not a huge fan of long hair. So he's on the list for sure, but he's not like S tier. Yeah,
he's on the bench waiting for the call up. He's not in the starting lineup. Anyway, yeah, so we find out that members of the organization have been running this place for a while. So all the people outside of the main scientists that Shin know are bad. Like, they're various levels of assassin and just bad heavy hitters. But when the boys sort of arrive on the scene and get that context from a couple of the random scientists, this is where they rock up and Shin breaks one of the guys' necks. I'm like, that's a death. That's a murder. You've broken your rule. It's been happening repeatedly in episode 7. Aoi is going to be pissed. It really, really got to me.
Brendan's like on the phone to Aoi, like, hey, just so you know, Shin broke this guy's neck. Hey,
fourth time today.
Maybe it wasn't that bad. But we see the scientists kind of usher them into the lockers and like, you've got to hide. He's coming. And it's this guy called Mad Horiguchi, who's the leader of the floor they're on. So they have like tiers.
Yeah, floor
like,
bosses.
It's like
it's great.
Yeah, right? Like a video game. And this guy is covered in syringes that are full of some kind of concoction. And he's drinking blood from a blood bag like a vampire. And I'm like, this guy is so dodgy. He's breaking so many laws right now. I would not let him in my hospital. So Shin comes out and he's like, I got to fight this guy. Like, because he actually stabs a guy with a pen.
Through the hand, yeah.
Yeah.
Just casually.
Yeah, he's like, can I borrow your pen? And this guy scientist is like, yeah, sure. And he's like, well, stabs him. Shin comes out and he's like, hey, don't hurt my friend that I like. And then he injects Shin with like a word jumbling serum. And I'm like, do you not have anything more effective if you're trying to fight someone?
It's funny because I watched the dub, and that that word serum actually turns Shin into speaking Japanese. Like he goes from the English track to then Japanese. And so I was cackling at that because I'm like, that was a really fun like change up of the dynamic and the energy. But yeah, he's a creepy dude, old Mad Horichi, and he has every villain trope just whack, 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 whack in quick succession. Like you see him do the glasses adjustment with the finger. You see him do like slurp noises and weird things with his mouth and his tongue. And yeah, the needles and the creepiness and the blood sucking. Like, yeah, they sort of bundled every type of creepy, uncomfortable villain thing you could do in the span of like 20 seconds. I'm like, okay, this is cool. But you see like how quickly he was when he injects himself with, I don't know, the blue gel, because he's got like a rainbow of syringes across his shoulders and then switches and dials on his arm. Like he is kitted out, this guy. And yeah, seeing the word or the language jumbler that he does to Shin, I'm like, yeah, that's probably a flawed type of thing to use. Like maybe just sedate the guy or something, maybe. Right? But it still made me laugh.
It was funny. And this whole time while Shin's fighting this guy, Sakamoto's in the locker, like his head a little like squished, and he's like, please someone let me out, I'm so uncomfortable, because obviously he's too big to fit in the locker. And when he does come out, he's got like a Minecraft character.
Yeah.
It's like a square.
He's been pushed in. Like that part made me giggle when he finally busts out and he's got this big like rectangular head from the locker. But then you see him again, like just the chasm of ability between Shin and Sakamoto, where Shin couldn't even get close to this sort of villain, where straight away Sakamoto's out and boom, one shot, this guy's out for the count. So you see that happen. And then we get a moment here where Sakamoto asks Shin, he's like, you know, do you care about this place? Do you want to save this place and the people? And Shin's like, yeah, I do. Like, I want to sort of see this return to its glory and the good times, excluding the experimentation on children, obviously. And then so we get, all right, it's time to clean this place up. And it's a very weird way this episode ended for me, I thought, because we get that and we sort of flash to another, flash to the outside of the museum again, and we see Usaragi and Shishiba arrive, who are both a couple of the heavy hitters from the organization that we sort of saw at the dinner party a couple of episodes back. And so we get them arriving on scene. Nothing really happens. We just sort of see them having a bit of small talk and about to walk into the museum as well. And we cut to credits. I'm like, what? Where's the rest of this episode? What's going on? It's very weird to me. Like, it was super, super abrupt.
I feel like it definitely set up a lot of things. Like, it set up the fact that, you know, Lou is in the cell planning a jailbreak. Shin and Sakamoto are trying to save her, but there's obviously multiple floors to this building, so they're going to have to do a lot. And then we've also got two members of the Order here to presumably investigate what's going on, because they will also know that something is happening here. They know that someone's doing something shady in this lab. And so I think we've got a lot of layers here. And I think this episode was definitely one of a big setup for all of this to pay off later down the line.
Yeah, and I hope it does pay off well. Like, I enjoyed parts of this episode, but like I was talking about my reshuffling of my sort of live watch lists as where things are ranking. Sakamoto Days is sitting down like closer to 10 now for the season for me, because I'm enjoying it, but like I want more. And some of these sort of ways these episodes are ending is very anticlimactic, even though it's trying to sort of keep us hooked for more and to tune in next week. But there hasn't been those big reveals, those big booms. Like it's fun, it's inoffensive, it's silly and crazy and wholesome. Like, it's a lot of good things, but some of the other stuff I'm watching feels like it's getting executed at a high standard.
I will say, though, we did get a new ending song for this episode.
Hump Up.
It was so good. And this is another one by Vaundy too, who does the opening. And we get that real like cool rock vibe with these, you know, gorgeous vocals. And I love the vibe and almost like the like hard-boiled detective / assassin vibe that we're getting. I think it's really, really slick. I'm really enjoying the kind of way that they're taking this.
Yeah, it was surprising that they've sort of changed the ED halfway through Core 1. I thought they might just roll this through this first 12 episode run and then maybe shift it for episode 13 onwards, but not complaining, because I love Vaundy and it is a banger and it's an improvement on the previous ED we had before that. And I really like the gritty sort of more muted art style they had in the ED as well. So that was a positive note. But yeah, it just ended so abruptly this episode. And I'm still vibing it, but yeah, I'm vibing some other things a little more.
Yeah, I think next week we'll definitely get some payoff, which I'm keen for, but I'm with you on this is maybe not my favorite episode of the season so far. Yeah. But let's get into some final comments, Brendan. I want to shout out to the ANZ Creators Meetup last night, which has inspired me to start a new Sakura Society podcast. Ooh, and I am so hyped. I feel like it's going to be really, really good.
I feel like it's going to be really, really good too, because everything you do is really, really good. So I know you're going to crush it. Do you want to provide any spoilers? You're just going to keep us all on the hook. Watch this space type of thing.
Yeah, it's going to be a watch this space. I think there's a bit of work to be done before I can really reveal anything, but let it be known that something is coming. It's a Courtney special, and we're growing Sakura Society, which makes me happy.
Me too. Makes me very happy. Makes me very proud and excited. I'm not launching a new podcast. I am just going to sit on the bench and sort of cheer Courtney on from the sidelines. But I wanted to shout out, I was in Thailand. I stumbled across a place called Animate, which was a monster of an anime store at the top of this mall called the MBK in Bangkok. And it was huge. It was great. It had so much cool stuff. Sadly, but it makes a lot of sense because it's in Thailand. All the language in the mangas and the visual novels and everything I had, obviously tied to the Thailand dialect instead of English. So I couldn't even buy anything to sort of take home from sort of a reading standpoint. I did cop this little Sakamoto figure sitting back here with Myron Kitagawa that I've got on display, because I've found some of these new IP that are out or coming out, the release on figures is so delayed, especially like things like Dandadan. Like Dandadan has minimal figures available anywhere in the world at the moment. They're still sort of later this year, and I haven't been able to see anything from that franchise. But yeah, I saw Taro Sakamoto there hanging out on the shelf as I was wandering around Animate, and I'm like, all right, you're coming with me. Also, because I know we've been talking about some ideas offline regarding some stuff to do with cards. I bought some anime-related sort of card sleeves. So I'm like, all right, I've got them. I'm committed now. I've got sexy anime girls on my card sleeves. Let's go. So shout out to Animate.
I will say, so Animate is a store in Japan, and they have stores kind of around Asia specifically. So it's really cool that there's one in Bangkok and you got to go and see what they have, because they will have a lot of new and like officially licensed things.
So much. Like, I'm so sad because I was picking up so much stuff in the hopes I'm like, all right, I'll flick through and maybe there'll be something here in English. Nothing. But I wanted to buy so many things, but I settled on a few bits and pieces. But yeah, I hope we get an Animate here in Australia, because it is a monster of a store. Like, I walked around in there for an hour plus, and I could have done another hour or two easy, but it was just very hot and sweaty in there. So I sort of had to get out and cool myself down. But yeah, shout out to Animate. Hell of a place.
Love it.
Yeah. But that's all I wanted to mention. But yeah, what do you think? Shall we close this down for another week?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Well, listeners, viewers, Sugoi Squad, if you wanted to support us financially, you can do so over at patreon.com/Sakura Society. From a couple of dollars a month, you can get exclusive access to perks and giveaways you will not find anywhere else on planet Earth. But if you can't do it monetarily, that is totally fine. Just rate, review, subscribe to this podcast on your podcast player of choice. 5-star ratings and reviews are preferred. And yeah, if you drop some of those reviews in, we'll read them on future episodes of More Than Headlines. Be sure to check us out on all the video platforms as well. We're trying to make a more conscious effort on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at the Sakura SOC on all those platforms. Follow us on the socials as well, and be sure to join our Discord, because it's just a good old time in there. It's fun, it's entertaining, it's informative, and everything else in between. So yeah, find that link in the show notes here. But whether your anime be subbed, dubbed, or still yet to come, enjoy yourself, and much love to all the gorgeous waifus and husbandos out there. Goodbye.
またね。